going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, the second preseason game for the Chicago Bulls has come to an end, and we are now 1-1 in the preseason as the Bulls beat the Denver Nuggets pretty convincingly. Now, albeit it wasn't the best Denver Nuggets team we could have saw, the reigning MVP of the league did not play this game, but you can only beat what's put in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, and that's exactly what the Chicago Bulls did. And even though it wasn't that best Denver Nuggets team, you saw really good improvements from this Chicago Bulls team that you simply didn't see in the Pelicans game. So we'll take a deeper dive into all of that. We'll discuss the positives and the negatives and everything of those sorts, because there is a lot to get through. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. Who was your player of the game and your overall thoughts and opinions between the Chicago Bulls and the Denver Nuggets as we won this game 131-113. The Bulls pretty much had the lead for the majority of the time in this game and never really looked back beyond the first and second quarters. We made a tremendous effort, in my opinion, to reduce the turnovers that we committed as a team. We also tried to play a little bit faster, which was very good to see. We had a lot of guys that actually made quite smart plays. We tried to really play a little bit of stronger defense. The offense was very unpredictable. There was a lot to like about this Chicago Bulls team today. And I really thought overall it was a very well-rounded performance. I can't sit here and look at one guy and say that guy didn't play very well. Everybody really played their part in this game, and that's why we walked away with a pretty convincing win overall. That team chemistry is starting to build, and I love to see it. The new signings played very well today as well, so you love to see that. Just a very positive game overall. So I've heard a lot about the Chicago Bulls offense being random, being, I guess, unpredictable. They're learning, trying to be more unpredictable, which is great. Less isolation plays for everybody, more team-orientated basketball, random cuts at different times. This is a lot of what I've been asking for from the Bulls last season. Every time we versed the Miami Heat, we always lost because random guys cut to the basket. It was very unpredictable who was going to cut, where they're going to cut from. Is it a backdoor cut? Is it a cut straight from the top all the way to the rim? Things like that. And that's something that I think I saw very much trying to, I guess, occur in the Chicago Bulls team as well. People randomly cutting, everybody getting a little bit more involved in the offense. Of course, there's going to be a time when Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan take the shots they need to take. Of course, there's going to be a time where Vucevic goes into the post. Those players are a little bit more predictable. And I thought towards the end of the game, we were a little bit more predictable, I've got to be honest. When DeMar DeRozan heated up, we know we were going to DeMar DeRozan. It's as simple as that. When the guy is hot the way that he was and they didn't double team him, they didn't really bring any other guy towards DeMar DeRozan, you give him the ball, you let him do what he needs to do. And that's exactly why he had a great season last year, and that's why he had a great game today as well. So I really enjoyed that. Of course, it's okay to be predictable, as I've said, but only predictable when teams can't stop it. And no one could stop DeMar DeRozan when he was in his shot today. And that's why going predictable can work as well. So I like how we're aiming for unpredictability. We're aiming for random cuts. We're aiming for a lot of cohesiveness on the offensive end. And something that's important to note is that that's going to take time to actually work on. We saw a very good game today, but we won't see that type of game every single time out for the Chicago Bulls. To get unpredictability on the offense, you're going to have to take a lot of time, a lot of practice, and just a lot of chemistry to actually get that going at an effective level. So the Bulls have a lot of work to do, and I admire that they're starting this work in preseason. And it was just an overall good game to watch. It was a blast to watch. Obviously, before we go into individual performances as well, hopefully Jamal Murray is not badly hurt. He did, I think, hold on to his thigh or his hamstring towards I think it was the late second or third quarter in that game. Hopefully he is not hurt badly. And again, Jamal Murray's been through enough injuries, man. He's been out for so long. I want to see him back in the NBA again. I want to see the Denver Nuggets team fully healthy, because I do really like that Denver Nuggets team. But obviously, this is not a Denver Nuggets YouTube channel. Let's just talk about the Chicago Bulls now. I just wanted to get that out of the way and say get well soon to Jamal Murray. Hopefully, it's not a serious injury. Let's look at the individual performances. We do have a lot to get through from these type of players as well, because it was a very balanced game and I really thought everybody played their part. Starting off with Javonte Green, that had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists alongside of a block as well. Javonte Green actually started this game. Now, I made a lot of videos talking about the point guard position, how we could see guys like Ayo, Caruso, Dragic or Kobe White start at that point guard position because it's relatively unknown. I don't think anyone would have predicted that by by the second preseason game, we would have seen Javonte Green start over Patrick Williams. But a great game from Javonte Green the first time out, and a very strong game in this time out as well. His scoring seems to be a really big improvement, and I know that's something that he's been working on in the off-season, and I'm hoping that can translate over into the regular season. When he's in those corners, I hope he can make them at a high level, because at the end of the day, we need three-point shooting, and Javonte Green can provide that for us from the corner shots, which we know will be wide open for the Bulls. We've seen it all season last year. They left the corners open. If we see more improvements from the three-point shot from those guys, from the corners, and from catch and shoots, that's going to be a big addition to this team. That's going to make us an extra element of a dangerous team. And speaking of unpredictability, that's as unpredictable as they come for the Chicago Bulls. So a good performance from Javonte Green. I still preferred his first game's performance, just because, again, he matched the energy so well. I felt like everybody brought energy today. So Javonte Green did stand out from the scoring perspective, but everybody kind of played very, very well, where in the first game, Javonte Green stood out from how well he actually played. DeMar DeRozan had 22 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists alongside of a steal. He shot 9 from 15, ladies and gentlemen, which is a total of 60% from the field, which is fantastic to see from DeMar DeRozan. I think this was a much better performance from DeMar DeRozan from this game compared to the first game. I think it was very similar in terms of the actual points, but DeMar DeRozan really heated up. And like I said, when we're talking about unpredictability and predictability, if DeMar DeRozan is cooking up his guy, you keep going to DeMar DeRozan until someone stops it. And then when someone does stop it, or when they add double teams, when they add all these things, then you go back to those unpredictable plays. You go back to those backdoor cuts. You go back to, I guess, pick and rolls and things like that, and making great passes. And that's what the Bulls did. So I'm excited for that, because DeMar DeRozan is still going to be dangerous on this team. Just because we're not playing isolation doesn't mean DeMar DeRozan ain't going to get the stats that he needs to get to help us win games. And I like that. And I saw something very similar from Zach LaVine as well. So these are positive signs that I hope will carry over into the regular season, in the hopes that we don't get as stagnated as we were last year, when it was just isolation and nothing more. And it looks like they're making a very long, very hard effort to avoid those types of situations and scenarios. So fair play to DeMar DeRozan and the rest of the team. Nikola Vucevic with another strong game, ladies and gentlemen. He had 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists in today's game. Now, in the last game, he got 3 steals and 4 blocks. Unfortunately, no steals and no blocks for Nikola Vucevic today, but he's still very active on getting hands and deflections on the pick and roll. So I'm hoping that's going to be a consistent theme heading into the regular season. Yes, there are some times he got caught out. Again, we know Vucevic's weaknesses and liabilities on the defensive end. Those are not going to change overnight, if ever, at this point in time. But if he can keep on getting his hands on the ball when it's passing to the center, when it's in pick and rolls, he seems very active on that defensive end, and he needs to take pride in that. Vucevic and Drummond, in my opinion, add different layers to that center position right now. And the fact that we can see Vucevic continue to really strive on that defensive end is going to be huge for this team. I can't expect it every night from Vucevic, because I know the player that he is. He's been this player for the majority of his career, but continue to stay active on the defensive end, and I think a lot of people will have their minds changed on Nikola Vucevic in the future. 4 assists for a center is fantastic. Obviously, he didn't play a whole lot of minutes, so he didn't get a double-double this time around. He got a lot into the post. He made his three-point shots as well, 2 from 4 from the three-point line. A solid night for Nikola Vucevic. And again, so far, in my opinion, he's probably the player to look out for preseason. He's probably the player of the preseason so far. So let's keep that up and hope he can have another great game in the next time out against the Toronto Raptors. Zach LaVine had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal. Zach LaVine, efficiency-wise, was not necessarily there. Only 3 from 8 from the field and 1 from 4 from the three-point line. So there is work to do there for Zach LaVine. There was a couple of plays where he just sauced up his opponent, got a nice and easy layup, and that's the Zach LaVine of old that we would like to see. I understand he's coming off of a knee surgery, and of course he has to get time to adjust into the game. He played 24 minutes this time around, which is very much similar to a lot of the other guys that played on the Chicago Bulls team. So that's good to see that there was no underlying injury, and Zach LaVine is just building his way into it. Of course, I'd like to see better efficiency, but I also saw 6 assists from Zach LaVine, and one of them was a terrific bounce pass to DeMar DeRozan. So that was a fantastic play. And again, Zach LaVine can be a playmaker on this team. He's been working on it for years now. Again, there were a couple of times where he got 10 assists, 13 assists in terms of his game. That was obviously something that we can get used to. And hopefully Zach LaVine has that responsibility on his side where, yes, he can be a scorer. He's a great scorer. There were a couple of catch-and-shoot threes, or one catch-and-shoot three that he actually made. He got to the basket. He could do all these things, but he can also facilitate, and he could do it at a high level if he keeps on working at it. So that's the progression for Zach LaVine that he's currently taking, and I did like his game. I did think his game was better the last time out. Hopefully we can even see a better game from Zach LaVine, because to his standards, this game was fairly average as well. We know he could take an extra level above that, so let's hope that we do see that. Ayo Dosunmu had 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. 2 from 3 from the three-point line as well. 3 from 6 overall. Fairly positive night from Ayo Dosunmu. I think this time around, Alex Caruso actually had the better game. But yeah, I enjoyed his performance. He's still a player that, in my opinion, plays his role very well. I still see him being very strong defensively. I think he did a good job on Jamal Murray and all the guards that he actually played on this time around, which is a positive to see. He got some catch-and-shoot threes, which is positive. Hopefully he can continue making them. Yeah, just a very decent performance from Ayo Dosunmu. Moving into the bench, Goran Dragic with 8 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 1 steal. 4 from 8 from the field today. So he took a fair good amount of shots, and he played a lot better today. Again, in my opinion, in the last game against the Pelicans, he was by far the worst player on the team. And I gave him a pass, and I think everyone should have gave him a pass because it's his first game on the Bulls. It's not exactly just come in and play. He's a point guard. He has to get used to all of his new teammates. He has to get used to where they need to be. And he's still learning that, in my opinion. There was still a couple of passes that could have easily been avoided that led to turnovers or led to, again, maybe buckets that weren't necessarily planned out, but it did work out for the Bulls. One specifically where he tried to pass to Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond didn't realize he was going to get that ball. Alex Caruso swoops in from behind, gets an and one. That worked out for the Chicago Bulls, but it's not the play that was anticipated. And Goran Dragic is still learning those plays. He's still learning, I guess, how to get accustomed to those teammates. But he did make a fair good amount of shots today. He's a fairly good mid-range shooter, and I expected that from him, but it's good to see in action for the Chicago Bulls as well. I guess being a good decision maker, and sometimes it's better to shoot the ball than to pass it sometimes, and he did a fairly good job, in my opinion, making the right decisions. Patrick Williams had 11 points and 2 rebounds alongside with a block. The block was a very good one. It was against Michael Porter Jr. A lot of people like Michael Porter Jr. as well. Patrick Williams basically used his athleticism to get that block. 11 points. To be honest, in the first half, Patrick Williams wasn't necessarily, I guess, a factor in the game. Let's be honest. He had the one block, but outside of that, not necessarily a lot happening for Patrick Williams there. In the third quarter, I hope he takes a lot from that third quarter, because that's what he needs to do going forward. When Patrick Williams drives to the basket, people are going to foul him. I think a lot of people don't understand how athletic Patrick Williams actually is. The guy can leap. He can jump. He can be just as athletic as the rest of the league. Maybe not the Zions of the world, but he's fairly athletic in his own right. There are not many people who are going to jump higher than him. So when he does go to the basket, teams will foul him because they've got no other choice. And then you saw his catch-and-shoot three-point shot from the corner. Of course, that's obviously going to be a necessity to his game because he is going to be in the corner most of the time. But you saw a couple of times where he drove. You saw a couple of times where he isolated his guy and got to the mid-range. You saw when he got off a screen into a mid-range. He had a lot of good shots that, in my opinion, can be the main shots for him going forward. So I hope he takes a lot away from that third quarter, because that was by far the best quarter that he's had in the entire preseason. I enjoyed that third quarter a lot, and he's got a lot to work on there. So hopefully that's something he can learn from, he can take, and maybe just continue to be aggressive, because we saw how effective it could have been. If he was effective or aggressive for the whole game, it was really effective for him in the third quarter. Kobe White, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Kobe White was 5 from 7 from the field and 2 from 4 from the three-point line. This was a great game from Kobe White. A lot of his buckets came from the fourth quarter. It was catch and shoots. It was dribbling into his own shot. It was a couple of mid-ranges. He got to the foul line as well. Kobe White is designed on this team to get really good offensive plays, to get the ball in the basket. That is Kobe White's role. And again, I'd like to see it for all 4 quarters. again, for the second quarter of that game, he wasn't necessarily firing on all cylinders, but then he came alive in the fourth quarter. I can understand those types of plays. Look, you heat up and sometimes you go cold from quarter to quarter. That's just how microwave players kind of work in the NBA. But I'm hoping for more consistency from Coby White. Continue to play like this. Continue to just get your own shots. Continue to be confident. Continue to just make good decisions. And in the end of the day, you will see the benefits from that, from Coby White, who again is a fantastic scorer when he is firing on all cylinders. Very, very good game. Alex Caruso, 11 points, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Again, I thought Alex Caruso was fantastic today. One of the contentions for player of the game, in my opinion. You can't deny how much of a great defender he is. He put his hands on a lot of steals. He ended up getting a couple of and ones. He got a nice couple of dunks as well. Tried to posterize Jeff Green. Imagine if that went down. But yeah, it was a great game from Alex Caruso. And right now, in terms of the performances between Ayo and Caruso, I think they're both tied. I think Alex Caruso had the better game today, and I thought Ayo had a better game against the Pelicans. So it's going to be an interesting battle to see who walks out with that point guard position. Maybe we will see Alex Caruso start against the Raptors, but if we don't see Alex Caruso start against the Raptors, then I think it kind of shows the Bulls want to use Ayo as the starting point guard. So we'll see. I guess that will tell a lot, in my opinion, from how we actually go against the Toronto Raptors. Andre Drummond, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. I think slowly but surely we are starting to see what Andre Drummond brings to the table. In my opinion, it's not just the fact that he goes for offensive rebounds. It's not the fact that he's just a bigger body. He even got a nice block today as well, I believe, as well. It's not just about that for me. I think what I see with Andre Drummond is that the fast break opportunities for other teams heavily decline because you got 5 people trying to box out Andre Drummond in the paint. And yes, he won't get the offensive rebound every time, but the fact that he's a presence on the offensive rebound means 3-4 guys have to box out Andre Drummond just to get the ball away from him, and there's not a lot of transition play that goes after that. So I admired that from Andre Drummond, and I think we're slowly starting to understand what he brings to the table. I still don't think he's going to be the best rim protector for the Bulls. He did have a nice block today. He had a nice block against the Pelicans, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a consistent thing going forward. But his ability and tenacity to go and get an offensive rebound really is adding an extra level to this team, and it helps us on the defensive end as well. It may not look like it now, but keep watching. Every time you see 3-4 people trying to box out Andre Drummond on the offensive glass, you're not going to see that many transition plays going forward because everybody then has to run once they get the ball, and the Bulls will be set. So that is obviously something we need to keep on seeing with Andre Drummond. You're slowly starting to see what he can bring to the table. He's not going to be an elite scorer. He's not going to be, in my opinion, a guy that we turn to for a bucket. He might not even make the amount of free throws that he made today in the future. But all things considered, I think we are starting to see what he can bring to this team. And I think there are very good qualities there. And again, he's giving Vucevic a lot of rest, which I admire as well. A lot of the other guys I'm not really going to talk about. Dalen Terry, I thought had a great game with 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 1 steal. That was really, really good. Javon Freeman-Liberty also played very well. The man just forgot how to pass and just spammed the square button from 2K. If you know, you know. The guy just kept on shooting. He just wanted to shoot. And to be fair, he made his shot. So you got to give him credit for that. And that's all I'm really going to talk about. I'm happy Marco got minutes, even though he didn't get the ball. And yeah, a lot of other guys got good minutes as well. So very, very important there to look at. Now, the must improve for the Chicago Bulls. Again, preseason, I don't really feel like I need to give one out. And it's actually going to be very hard to give one out as well, considering everybody played a very important role towards the Chicago Bulls win. The player of the game for me, this is a hard one to actually decipher, but I feel like I kind of robbed Nikola Vucevic from the performance against the Pelicans because Javonte Green played so well. So today I'm going to give it to Nikola Vucevic. Again, 14.7 rebounds and 4 assists. I thought that was a very good performance. Overall, you can look at DeMar's 22 and say, yes, that's the player of the game as well. Fair enough. You can look at Alex Caruso and how he played. You can look at a lot of guys on this team. To be honest, there's no clear-cut decision for player of the game. But for me, Vucevic, this is another good step towards, I guess, the progression of Nikola Vucevic, entering the post and getting his post hooks, and then going to the three-point line and making those three-point shots. He feels a little bit more comfortable, in my opinion, and I think we can clearly see that. So, a very positive sign from Nikola Vucevic. Our preseason record is 1-1. Very, very positive there, with the next game coming against the Toronto Raptors. Now, This is a very interesting Toronto Raptors team. I'm not really sure how their preseason is going, so if anybody knows how Toronto are playing, let me know in the comments below. But they're another team that is expected to be very competitive in the Eastern Conference. They're trying to make a statement, and again, they're going to be versing a Bulls team that is also trying to make a statement as well, trying to show that we are better than what people perceive. So hopefully we'll be able to do that, and hopefully we can walk away with another good performance and another good win against that Toronto Raptors team. So let me know in the comments below if you think we can do that as well. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Another 20-minute video, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you by the time the regular season comes around, these videos will be a lot shorter because I'm not going to go into individual performances after a loss and things like that. We'll just take a look at the positives and the negatives. But for now, enjoy the longer videos and enjoy the 5 hours it's going to take to actually upload this video. So have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.